Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to my kitchen. Today we're gonna try a new recipe that I have never tried, but I'm super excited to try it. It's from Pinterest. It is chocolate cake donuts with a chocolate glaze. Now, being gluten-free, it's super hard to find donuts these days, except in the freezer section. So I'm very excited to try this. Usually recipes on Pinterest are super easy to follow. So if you're ready, I'm definitely ready. We're gonna go through the ingredients and let's get baking. Okay, so we're gonna run through the ingredients. So the first batch of ingredients that we're gonna go through is just for the donuts. So what you're gonna need is a cup of all-purpose flour. I like to use the 1-to-1 baking flour by Bob's Red Mill. Super good for baking and very easy to find. Then you're gonna need baking powder. You're gonna need a teaspoon of baking powder. You will need a fourth a teaspoon of baking soda. You're gonna need 1/4 cup of cocoa powder. My favorite is Hershey's because Hershey's bars are the best. You're gonna need 1/4 teaspoon of salt. You will need 1/2 cup of brown sugar, and you will need 1 egg, which is hiding behind brown sugar over here. So we have an egg. Then you're gonna need 3/4 cup of milk. You can use almond milk, coconut milk, regular milk, whatever your choice is. And then you will need butter. So you're gonna need 3 tablespoons of melted butter and 1 teaspoon of pure vanilla extract. And then for the actual glaze that you're gonna put on top of your donuts, you're going to need powdered sugar. So we have 1 cup of powdered sugar here. You're gonna need a teaspoon of vanilla again. You will also need 4 tablespoons of cocoa powder, and then 3 tablespoons of milk, and we're just gonna use that almond milk we used before. And then, of course, these sprinkles, which are hiding over here in the corner. So we're gonna use some rainbow sprinkles to top the donuts with. Okay, so now we're gonna get ready and get everything together and we'll start baking. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna mix together the batter. So what we're gonna do is you're gonna put the dry ingredients in first. So we have our flour, and then you're gonna do your brown sugar, which is nice and tightly packed in that 1/2 cup. You have your salt, baking powder, baking soda. You're gonna put that in with it. And then your cocoa powder, which smells so good. It smells so much chocolate, which is my favorite thing ever. So that helps. And then you're gonna whisk that all together. So I've been diagnosed with celiac for about 7 years now. So that means I can't have gluten. And I've had a lot of trouble finding baked goods. But now that I live in California, rather than Florida, it kind of helps a lot. They have a lot of options out here. So that helps with finding things that I like to eat. But I haven't been able to find donuts yet out here. So I'm very excited to try these. I remember when I was a kid, so you're gonna put your wet ingredients next. When I was a kid, I used to wake up, we had neighbors that lived across the street from us, and they would bring us on the weekends as a surprise little donut holes from Dunkin' Donuts, and I remember that being like the best treat ever. So donuts are very nostalgic. And I remember, you know, my dad and I love going to Krispy Kreme. So hopefully they taste like Krispy Kreme cake donuts. That would be great. I would be very happy if they did. So we'll see. All right, so all the wet ingredients are gonna go in. My hands are full of egg now, but that's okay. So we're gonna whisk this all together and make sure it's nice and incorporated. And it says on the recipe, which is linked down below, that it's gonna be a thick batter, which I can tell it is, which is perfect. And it looks so chocolatey, and oh my gosh, it smells so good. I'm gonna show you guys what the batter looks like here in a second. Give me 1 second to get all this. So you see here, it's kind of like creamy. Hopefully you can see that, and hopefully I'm not gonna spill it all over the place. But now what we're gonna do is we preheated our oven to 350 degrees. And we're gonna put this in a Ziploc bag, and that's gonna be our piping bag. And then we'll put them into the donut pan. So that's what we're gonna do next. Okay, so we put the batter into the pan, and now it's gonna go to the oven, which you preheated at 350 degrees, and you're gonna bake it for 10 to 12 minutes. And while they're in the oven, you're gonna make your glaze, because in the recipe, it says that you have to put the glaze on when the donuts are still warm. So that's what we're gonna do next while these are in the oven. So that's what we're gonna do now. Okay, so the donuts are in the oven and they smell so good already. They've probably been in there maybe 5-ish minutes. So we're gonna make the glaze. So it's super easy. You're gonna take your powdered sugar, put that into a bowl. You're gonna put your cocoa powder into the bowl. And then it says you can use 2 to 3 tablespoons of milk, depending on the consistency you want your glaze to be. So I think I'm gonna go for the thicker side, just to be more of like a frosting. So we have 2 tablespoons of milk and our teaspoon of vanilla extract that'll go in with it. We can add more milk if we need to, but we're gonna see what it's gonna be like. And then you whisk it all together. So I'm gonna use a fork. Whisk that. Might take a second or two, which is fine. Okay, so I'm going to add in more milk because this is taking a while to actually incorporate. So I'm gonna grab that. And we're just gonna eyeball it. I'm not gonna measure. I have a tendency of doing that, but that's okay. So we're gonna go a little splash, and then we're gonna whisk it more. I'm gonna check on the donuts here in a second. Our timer just went off, but I only put it in for 8 minutes. So we're gonna check on that soon. Pop down. They're looking good. I'm gonna give it another minute or 2, and then we'll take those out. Okay, so I switched over to a spoon because the fork was not working. It says to whisk it, but the spoon was way easier. So highly recommend using a spoon rather than a fork. Or if you have a whisk that's not dirty, use that. But we're gonna take the donuts out and check on them. So let me grab a mitt and we're gonna grab them. So this is what they're looking like. They look so good. Fluffy. Now we're gonna let them cool for a little bit before we put them into the glaze, but they only said for a little bit because you have to keep them warm. So that's what we're gonna wait about 2-3 minutes and we'll start the glazing process, okay? All right, so these are fresh out of the oven. We let them sit for about 5 minutes. And now we're gonna drizzle the glaze over the top because it's a little bit delicate. So we're just gonna drizzle this glaze over the top of these donuts. It smells incredible in here. It smells so good. And I lined my little cooling rack with parchment paper, a little trick you can use to catch all of the fallout that you have from all of that icing that's going over the sides of the donuts. Just a little trick to keep in mind that you don't have to clean up as much. Okay, I'm gonna fix this last little one that we started with, really get that glaze on because I love chocolate, and the more chocolate there is, the happier I am. So now we're gonna add these sprinkles. So we have all the rainbow sprinkles, and all I'm gonna do is kind of sprinkle them over the top. Let it all get all nice and colorful. And they're running everywhere, but that's okay. Because we have that parchment paper down. So it's catching them all. All right, so they look so good. We are going to let them cool for a little bit longer before we try them, just for the icing to set. All right, and we'll be back to try them soon. Okay, so they've cooled, and I'm so excited to try them. They look so good. So let's take a bite. Ooh, they're falling apart. Oh my gosh, let's take one in half. Yeah, so good. Kind of tastes like a brownie mixed with chocolate cake, mixed with a donut. So messy, but so good. So be sure If you make these, to tag me on Instagram at the Gluten Free Girl. Be sure to like this video and subscribe down below and comment what you would like to see next. And I look forward to seeing you guys soon. Bye!